Alright everybody, hello and welcome to episode 3 of Watching Walford, an Eastenders podcast where we talk about and review all of the Eastenders episodes every week. Likewise, welcome back to the Watching Walford channel, which is more than just one podcast, as we do aim to make other videos like, some documentaries, tell some stories from the old characters, maybe some story arc, and perhaps some other soaps, but ultimately, it's been a busy week. It's been a busy start to the year. Maybe eventually we'll get to that. This podcast is also just audio only, but we do intend on creating, like I said, some other stuff sometime soon. Who knows? I'm your host Ash, and I'm joined by Piggy.
You need a slapping.
You need slapping down. And with all that aside, it's now time to start the show. We're going to be reviewing week 3 of 2023. The episode's going from the 16th of the 1st, 2023 to the 20th of the 1st, 2023. So we kick off the week as we see sexy Zach sprinting through the square in absurdly tight clothes. He's
Again.
giving Rafi yeah. He's giving Rafi a run for his money.
Again, Commissioner Sean from 1998 or 7 in the shorts. I want to see if I can get an image for this podcast.
But yeah, Zach's currently distracting himself from the potential HIV scare and rages at Sharon once again. He's really not processing the how it's going. Like, he's really just taking out on everyone. He has a head chef job lined up at Walford East, as Ravi's pulled some strings, He's buttered up Nish and Suki, and they're going to have a taste test later to decide whether he's actually fit to be a chef. Elsewhere, the Slaters are still struggling financially, so Alfie throws in his last tenner and enters his overdraft. I guess the payments to Phil's lost 30k fund have got to wait. And Alfie's going to spend this next week I say next week. I'm going to spend the next several months searching for cash.
Several months?
I feel like the Slaters struggling with cash is gonna last. It's gonna be a long run, and maybe not super long. Maybe not maybe not over a couple years, but I doubt it's going away anytime soon. if you want to hype up your boy Alfie again, so I can take him down.
Oh, you naughty boy. But Alfie is arguably he's one of my favourite highlights of EastEnders. Like, going back and watching old clips.
Yeah. It's
just mental to see him. I don't know, has he ever interacted with Dirty Dan? Because that's an interaction I would love to find.
I think
if he has.
Probably did a little bit.
Because to me, Dirty Dan and Alfie Moon is just a weird connection I want.
Yeah, I think that there's layers there, and there's certain aspects of each of the characters that kind of translate and they kind of match, but Den's a little bit more ruthless than Alfie is.
Yeah, and plus Den got killed by the Queen Vic.
Indeed, Alfie wishes he got killed by the Queen Vic bust. In an attempt to get more money, Alfie seeks cat cabs and the Albert, but realizes there is promise in getting the key back from the salon for the Vic. See, a while ago, Denise nabbed it and went, "Nah, it's mine now. You're not supposed to have this." And he wants to open it up and try revive the place. He says it's to help Linda, but he also kinda just wants to be able to provide for his family a little bit more. So, still classic Alfie, underhanded, but also not spiteful.
Yeah, 2018 Alfie, where he would have just set the place on fire.
Well, she's not doing it, I'll do it.
28. We don't talk about 2018 Alfie.
Yeah, everybody forgets about 2018 Alfie. Even Shane Ritchie's yeah, that was I needed the money.
I want to appear on EastEnders. Hopefully, if we get big and popular, we'll appear on EastEnders.
Good luck. Zach continues to mess up his chances as he scuffs the Walford East head chef job when he cuts his glass and bleeds. And before this, he was just being judged by Suki and Nish, and because he cuts his hand, he gets a bit like protective and such, like, no one come near me, and it just all kind of boils over. And then he finally goes to get checked if he does have HIV after he gets yelled at by both Ravi and Sharon. Amy makes some progress with her self-harming because they gave her some methods to try and avoid it, like flick like a rubber band or like hold an ice cube or just ways to kind of help her think of something else and try like control it type deal. It would be nice to. I would like Amy to be able to move away from the self-harm if possible, please.
Please.
It's just really sad, isn't it? But I guess it's a necessary story. I suppose to be fair, the last storyline I remember with self-harming was when in Hollyoaks, where the girl died due to sepsis because of all the like wounds, and it's like, oh Christ. It was a good storyline. I want to watch it through again at some point. Yeah. How do I continue? As well as, making progress, she makes amends with Denise, which makes Denise feel a little bit worse, as Denise is pretty much still thinking about Ravi. She goes to collect all of, like, an order from Walford East, and essentially kind of goes, yeah, we shouldn't be doing this. Yeah, it's a bad idea, Ravi. And then Ravi's like, oh, is it now? And she's kind of not convinced. But...
Scrum.
Yeah, it's kind of it's a very limp way of saying, yeah, we need to stop this. And the other thing we see is that Ricky Jr. is absolutely useless. You want to know why? Because he burnt a pizza to a crisp. And I just remembered to write that
pizza reminds me of someone in my family.
Oh, God. And I had the main reminder to myself going, this is the father to Lily's baby. He can't cook a frozen pizza well.
He can't cook a pizza. He can't wear a Johnny. Like, Jesus.
Yeah, just yikes. Ravi drowns his sorrows at Peggy's as he flirts with Denise's daughter Chelsea. Oh, a fair watch is getting stronger. She susses that he's after someone who's off limits, but Ravi's not too phased. Oh, I'm all for it. I hate Jack and Denise. It's such a boring marriage of convenient nonsense. Or civil partnership, out of convenient. Exactly. And we then get the very poignant scene where Zach actually gets checked and tested to see whether he is HIV positive. He's kind of chatting, he's trying to push it off, but her face goes cold, and she has to reveal that Zach is actually HIV positive. Zach is reeling now that he knows that he's HIV positive. He's considering calling Whitney, but he's struggling to deal with it and is just overwhelmed. This brings Martin in to give him a massive pep talk and give him a couple of home truths. He says he could be a brilliant dad, and reminds him that this baby's on the way no matter what. He emphasizes that just because Zach can run away doesn't mean Whitney isn't stuck with it. This wording made me slightly worried that Lily was going to keep the baby. Because, if Eastenders are saying, just because you can run away doesn't mean she can't. And I'm like, it's not like she can get rid of the baby. I know it's slightly controversial, but
Yeah. Moving on.
Just, maybe, maybe women should have a choice whether they want to have a baby. I don't know. Maybe that's a bit too irrational at this point. All the Christians will start yelling at me.
Oh,
Or Americans, pretty much.
oh, come on, you Americans. Oh, give us your opinions. Oh,
Ugh. Ravi flirts with both Denise and Chelsea.
affair.
Exactly. Affair. Chelsea offers a drink as payment for, Ravi helped her move a bunch of stock into the Peggy's, and yeah, he essentially, the best bit is whilst Denise is looking over, and he essentially goes, "Hey, eyes up." Ravi is, imagine being in this situation. Ravi would be the most infuriating bastard in the world. Because he's a relentless little flirting machine. But all right, don't think about it. Don't think about it. Ah, oh, he's done it.
Is he the people's bitch of EastEnders?
How should we define the people's bitch? What do you mean?
Well, who would be
Just
the people's
loved?
bitch? Yeah, loved.
I mean, I think he's had one of the more well received entrances to the show. I'd argue. Like
What about Billy Nickel?
no, the way they brought Ravi in made it really, basically, all of the Panasars had a different reason as to why they were like either upset or happy. So it was a really, basically, they kept on revealing more stuff, and you're like, oh god, like what? This changes everything. So yeah, I think I'll say Ravi's currently the people's bitch. I haven't seen too much upset about him.
Well, what with the triple egg sarnie? What of that?
That's my bitch. That's mine.
Ooh. Better make me one, please.
Alfie gets the Vic going again whilst Callum are discussing Jay's stag. And a misunderstanding leads Ben to think that he isn't the best man when, mate, who would? Like, who else is going to be Jay's best man? Like, they're basically brothers at this point.
Billy.
Nah, it's always Ben and Jay. Come on.
Affair.
Winnie gets taken for a scan with her family: Chelsea, Sonia, Finley, and Felix. It's a nice
Finley.
Yeah, Finley.
My name is Finley, and I love the scans.
But yeah, it's nice to see that they've made their own little family unit, despite not really being family. Like, I don't think any of them, other than the brothers, are actually like related. So it's nice that it's just really nice to see, because EastEnders usually has the whole idea like, yeah, family's everything. But none of these are really related, so it is just a family like by choice. And so
Yeah.
I think it's a good thing to show, really. I can appreciate that.
I do too.
Zach calls Brett and just breaks down over the realization that he has HIV. He's worried that he's given it to the baby. He feels like an imposter in his own skin, and he's just really struggling to wrap his head around it. Brett essentially gives the advice to say, okay, you've got to send all the details of the people you may have slept with to the clinic. Like, there's a chance you've given this on. And he then gives, like, basically Brett is acting as the Brett's acting as the I will correct people about their like misunderstandings of HIV. That's his role currently. You know, because he says it's not a death wish, and because he's been taking he's been taking the one pill every day, he can't even pass it on. Brett says he thought it was a gay thing, and he was worried that people would think that he'd slept with a gay guy. But he then also said, but like, nah, some of the gay men with HIV I'm so proud of because of their strength. I think it's just I just, you know, when they do these issues-based storylines, they usually either give it too much time or don't give it enough room to breathe. And I think they've done a good job in kind of dispelling like the incorrect, like the misinformation about HIV, whilst also shedding light on it in like the modern day. It's just important, really. And I'm pretty sure like there was a massive spike of people actually looking up about HIV now and actually taking it seriously and going, okay, let's actually learn. Because it's different from back in the 90s when it was a hotbed topic. Chelsea and Ravi have their date, and they have a decent amount of chemistry, and like I said before, I am ready for a love triangle. It's been too long. Give us the love triangle. Or the affair, either. Zach kind of comes in and asks Chelsea where Whitney is, but Chelsea just screams at him. And it's my line of the week. Because Chelsea just kind of goes with like a lot of spite, just like, it's too late to pop on a condom now. And I'm like, yes, beautiful, great line. Because, you know, why would Chelsea not yell at Zach? All he's done is he's gotten her pregnant and then has messed her about. She doesn't know that he's got HIV now. Like, he's done it. Well, he's caused all of this aggro by himself, even if it's not his fault, by kind of going, oh, Christ, I'm out of HIV. And and Ravi continues to flirt, but he gets a very dirty look from Denise, who Denise is about to yell at him. Zach tries to enter Peggy's, but he doesn't find Whitney there. But he does find a picture of the baby scan, though. This leads to Zach essentially... I think the reason why he's so upset at this point is he's terrified that he has just kind of, like, you know, given the baby HIV, potentially giving a bunch of his partners HIV. So he feels like he's been ruining everything. And for the final scenes in the episode, Ravi gets grilled by Denise over the date, and she is furious. He calls her out for essentially, being like egotistical, like, you think it's all about you? I can date who I want. And this leaves Denise furious. And all these games are leading us beautifully to a fair watch. Doof, doof, doof. Alfie continues to do up the Vic as Zach watches. Considering... Wait, hold on. Oh. Alfie continues to do up the Vic as Zach kind of lingers around seeing if, like, Whitney's okay. Essentially, he's going to try figure out if her bloods have come back properly and whether he has infected her or the baby. Finley comforts Alfie over the current financial crisis, and Patrick reimagines the olden days back in Trinidad, where even if everybody was having a terrible time, they'd all get together, they'd all have a drink, they'd all have a great time no matter what. Sharon finds out that Alfie has opened up the Vic again, but no one has told Linda. Till now. And as well as this, Lola gets some hair extensions from Kim, which is a nice gift. And this kind of leaves Lola to get emotional, because she's like, why didn't I get married earlier? It's kind of a bit of a trend in these sets of episodes, because Lola's start kind of like, well, this is great, but also, I know I'm dying. Like, she starts to kind of overthink everything now.
Die sooner.
Sounds very reasonable.
Like, you're complaining how you're gonna die. Just die. How hard is it to die?
Right.
Go
Chelsea
back.
drops
Clock the gun.
Jordan at Denise's, hoping that she would mind them for a few hours while she goes on a date with Ravi. And Denise essentially goes, nah, get out. Nah, not doing that. I have plans too. And I'm like, whoa. Zach keeps trying to figure out whether Whitney's buds have come back, hoping that she come back clear. And Alfie does this big speech in the market, essentially saying, all right, it's now July and we're going to have a proper party. And this hopefully sorts both Finley's and Alfie's money issue. Lola, Kim, Honey, and Lexi are on the planning commission for Lola's stag do. Lola gets a bit nervous when her mum's mentioned, and yeah, we've never seen Lola's mum in the square at all, and she's barely mentioned, so we've started the trend of trying to find Lola's mum now. At the pub, they're all Hawaiian shirted up, and it's colourful and happy. It's a banging celebration, and it's nice to see everybody having fun in January, because, January ball. January sucks. Any January fan? Are you a January fan?
No, I'm not. Are you a January fan?
No. I don't think anybody's favorite month of the year is January.
Unless you're born in January.
I'll wait till I see it to believe it. Ben decides that he's not going to the wedding because Jay never decided to tell him that he's the best man. Christ's sake, lads, come on, just. Linda gets back to the pub and it seems to be the end of the party. She sends everyone out and she sends everybody out and essentially is like, Alfie, what is this? Why? Denise yells at Ravi again for using Chelsea in his games, which kind of thinks about, but also not really. Lily sees Whitney as a bit of a figure of hope during her pregnancy, so yeah, don't be surprised to see Lily and Whitney suddenly becoming best of friends, because Lily's going to quietly ask pregnancy questions and Whitney's not going to realize that Lily's actually pregnant herself.
Well, until next week.
Probably. Zach sorts his list of all the people who he may have given HIV to and sends it off to the clinic, whilst Callum talks to Jay and essentially explains, the only reason he says he's not going to be there is because he isn't best man. Just talk to him, you idiot.
Yeah, I agree.
And Zach meets up with Brett and supports him in his time of need. Brett says that Zach's done good, but also essentially goes, mate, you should go talk to Whitney. And he does. And he actually, finds out that, yeah, she's all clear, she's had no issues, and it makes Zach kind of go, oh, thank God. But the end result of this conversation is that Whitney decides, yeah, maybe we just shouldn't do this. Ben finally gets asked to be Jay's best man, and they quickly make up. Okay, this is just going to be more of an overarching point. I'm glad that they finally remember that Jay and Ben are basically brothers. Because, like I said, in the last couple of years, they had Ben and Jay really separate, which is just, it makes no sense. Because Ben and Jay have always pretty much been attached at the hip. They aren't actually brothers, but they both grew up with Phil as a father figure type deal. And if there's one consistent between everything they've done, it's just that Jay and Ben should be brothers essentially. Yeah.
Yeah,
And Lexi makes a display about her heroes, and she wanted to put Lola right in the middle. And yeah, this led to Lola talk about her mum again, which, yeah, no, it's happening, boys. It's happening. Alfie goes to explain why he opened up the pub behind Linda's back, and he essentially goes, I wanted to both feed the Slaters and to keep you afloat. And they have a nice little scene, they call themselves friends, and it's quite sweet. Chelsea invites Ravi in for a drink, but Denise is watching. So Ravi declines. And it's like, oh, it's pretty rough. And yeah, Lola finally officially starts looking for her mum. And for the final scene of the episode, Linda admits that Mick would have enjoyed the party. And that, Alfie and Linda have slowly built up this like nice little friendship. I'm kind of worried that they'll end up getting together in the end. But she says, for the next couple weeks, you're allowed to work at the Vic. But after that, no longer. She says it's time to sell the Queen Vic. And in the final episode of the week, Alfie and Sharon both deal with the aftermath of Linda revealing that she's going to sell the pub. And Sharon eggs Alfie onto trying to get her to rethink. Okay, so this kind of made me go, is more of a question for us. Is Linda selling the pub a bad thing? Like, I don't know about you, but I'm sick of having the Carters run the pub. Like, just give us someone else. Please.
Will she sell the pub, is the question.
I don't know, really. I think she'll keep it. Basically, the way people think it's going to go is they think, because what we learn in a little bit, sorry, I'm spoiling 5 minutes time, is that Linda's not allowed to sell the pub because they don't have mixed, permission. And because he's not been ruled, and because he's not been ruled out as dead, she can't do anything about it. But honestly, in about February time, I wouldn't be surprised if Linda essentially gets assigned, I don't know, just gets something signed by Mick, essentially telling her, yeah, I'm still alive, I'm fine, you have, the power of attorney type deal, you can change anything you want. And then she probably just runs the pub. That's what I think is gonna
Who has been the pub owners of the Queen Vic? It was Dirty Den, I think, was one.
Yeah, Dirty Den and Angie.
And then Peggy. Is Peggy next?
God, let's actually have a bit of a deep dive here. But yeah, so first off, it is just Den and Angie. It probably was Peggy then.
And
hold on, let's just owners / licensee. Oh wait, hold on. So started off, Den was the owner of was the manager of the pub till 1988. Who sold it to Frank Butcher? Who's Eddie Royal? Oh, he's that guy. Yeah. Frank sold it to Eddie Royal. Actually, hold on. They don't own it, but it was they were the license owners. So, But then Sharon, Grant, and Phil bought the pub. And that then was just Sharon and Grant's till 95, till Peggy came in. Then Peggy was the the owner till about 2001, because they had the scene with Frank and Pat where they realized that Frank was cheating with both of them. Then it went back to Sharon, and then Phil owned it afterwards, and this was when Alfie had his stint as the bar manager. Then it went to Den and Chrissy Watts, back to Phil, then to Archie, then to Roxy and Peggy, back to Phil for 3 years, and then we go to Mick and Linda. in 2013. And they held it for pretty much till 2020, with a slight gap in the middle where Sharon and Ian bought it because Ian felt bad because he resulted in Sharon's kid dying. And then it just went straight back to the Carters. So in total, they pretty much had it for about 9 years.
10 years this year.
And that's a lot. Like,
so who would be the new owners then?
that I honestly couldn't tell you. If we just go into like, there are two things I wouldn't mind. I think it would be fun to see the Slaters run a pub. I think that would be a lot of fun. Because you would have like Martin as like a bartender. You'd have like Harvey there as well. You'd have Janine kind of freaking out. I think maybe Kat as well would be like landlady type deal. Do something like that. Or do the Panasars. Have the Panasars own the Vic. I'd like to see that as well. I don't know. What do you think? Who would you like to see behind the bar?
Panasars make a lot of sense because then you can have I forget the man's name, but
Nish.
you can basically have Fish and the lady have a fight.
Nish and Suki, yeah.
I was going to say Snooky, and I was like, oh no.
Not Snooky.
Sucky. Like,
Yeah.
Snooky.
Yeah, honestly, I think, to be fair, the key answer is purely just not Linda, please. If Shirley didn't leave, which is now pretty much confirmed that she's off for a while now. She's having a big break. She'll probably be gone for at least a year or so. If it was Sharon and Linda, maybe. But I don't know. They're really gonna have to like. They're gonna have to make it. They're gonna have to build like a big family unit around Linda again. Because I don't think any of her kids are coming back. So I think it's just her. So what? It would be like Linda, Alfie, Sharon. Maybe she'd employ Keanu. Like, you need a concrete family behind it. But I don't know. I would love to see literally anybody else other than Linda. And it's also kind of comes into my main issue of, I think it would have been a really good time to just rest the Carters for now. Like, just have Linda leave for a while as well. Obviously, I know there's not much fun in having her gone, and you like the actress, like the writers do, but it would have been a good time to have them leave. Obviously, not forever.
You could have honestly had Linda text Sharon to say she can reopen the pub, and then Alfie come in and be like, I need a job, and then Sharon implies Alfie.
Yeah, but that's not dramatic enough.
And then she could be gone for a while, and then Sharon sells the pub without Linda's permission.
Yeah. Yeah, I just literally anybody else, please. Have Sonia buy the pub. Actually, no, I think Sonia's about to have a lot of financial issues because of the inheritance tax, like, or even have the Brannings have the pub again. Have Jack there, have Denise as landlady. I don't know, just do something different, please. Yeah, that's my take. I suppose it's just, I don't know, there's just so much. I just really don't like Linda. Why is an alcoholic gonna own a pub. Obviously,
Yeah.
she's in recovery, but for Christ's sake. Essentially, the reason why she's selling this is because she's grieving so deeply over Mick. For obvious reasons, you know, they were pretty much soulmates. Even though there were some affairs, and well, even though there was an affair, and they weren't together for a while. They were meant to be as such, and she essentially says, "There's no changing my mind." Furthering the episode, Martin and Stacey argue over Lily's baby. And Martin essentially brings up this kind of sad story when Lily was a kid, saying like, yeah, he would give her like these like jobs, and Lily'd be like, yeah, I'd be able to do that. And Martin would agree, but ultimately he says, having a baby at 12 doesn't really help that, does it? Stacey agrees, but realizes that they can't bully Lily into the decision, and if they do, they'll regret it. Lily will regret it, and it's a bit rough. Martin does pressure a little, but avoids outright screaming at her to get rid of the baby. Good job, Martin. Handled it well. Didn't blow your lid at her. Ollie is drawing a birthday card for Mick, as it's his birthday today. Oof. Uh-oh. Yeah, Ollie has never been told. Which
Are they gonna tell Ollie?
I don't know. Like I said, I imagine basically they're saying something big happens with Linda in February, so I'm expecting Linda to get like, yeah, I'm alive, but I just couldn't come back because so much has changed. Ricky and Sam are chatting out at the cafe. Ricky has a triple fried egg sandwich, and Sam just kind of laughs at the idea that no matter where Ricky goes, he just doesn't change. And he says, he knows what he likes.
I really want a triple egg sarnie.
Yeah. Yeah, it does sound pretty, like, it sounds good, but it sounds bloody diabolical. Like, your guts ruined.
Yeah,
Like,
but it sounds lovely.
I'd be blaming the sewers. Not just Ricky. Like, oh boy. Couldn't be doing that.
I'd blame everything but the sewers.
Yeah, Sam feels slightly off because it seems like she's been given a text about potentially, like, a former partner has been tested for an STI, and it has like come up. I
Who is
said
the
that in a
former
really dumb
partner?
way. Zach.
Oh.
Aaron and Zach had like a little I don't say relationship. They were just sleeping together pretty regularly and kind of,
Yeah.
So yeah, it could possibly be HIV. It's not. They're not giving Sam Mitchell HIV. Come on. Linda learns that she can't sell the Vic without Mick's permission, and this can't happen because Mick hasn't actually been proven dead, so they can't get a death certificate or even hold a funeral. Alfie asks Rocky for a favor, but we don't really know what it is. Billy's worrying about Lola's wedding gift, and Zach is avoiding his sexual health clinic appointment. And Linda's wondering about her mum. She decides that she wants to find her before she dies. We learn that Stacey feels upset because she remembers at the time that Bradley pressured her into an abortion that she didn't want to, or she may not have wanted to have. And this apparently haunts her each day.
Get over it. Bradley's dead. He's been dead for 15 years. Just get over it.
Christ. As this goes down, Lily is hovering around with a new favourite person. It's Whitney, and we're about to hear about 70 baby questions. Lily manages to sell her jumper for a tenner, and Whitney welcomes her back anytime if she wants to help. Alfie calls a meeting in the cafe to try and celebrate Mick and remind Linda that she's loved, as no one wants her to leave Walford. Except
I
for
do.
most of us. Exactly. I do. You know, the actress she's great, but I hate Linda. Lola asks Sharon about how to find her mum. But it's harder for Lola to do because nothing about her, like, being adopted was above board. And Lily's also sat on the swings, kind of listening in. And it gives her a bit more thought about whether she wants to keep the baby, whether she wants to have the baby adopted, or whether to abort the baby. So we will see. And Billy's told about Lola trying to find the mum, and it seems like Billy's going to be the one to find her. So, ooh. It's at the wedding, obviously. You know, the mum's gonna come at the wedding, and it's gonna be all dramatic and stuff.
We'll find out next week.
Is it next week or is it the week after?
It's next week.
Oh Christ!
Well,
Right.
it's this week. It's this week coming.
Okay.
The last week of January. So I'd assume Lola then dies on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
And then Linda dances because Mick is alive.
Alfie shows everyone Alfie leads everyone into the Vic, and they're all having like a solitary drink in Mick's memory. And you know it's all of Mick's.
Do you know what would have made this scene better?
Hmm?
Instead of them all drinking pints, if they were drinking water, that would have made it better. Rather than a solitary bottle of water on Mick.
No, that would just prove that nobody cared.
No, I wouldn't. Like, I would be the only person there drinking water.
Why would you drink water? Who has a solitary cup of water to celebrate someone's life?
Because he's drowned. That makes it better. That makes it more funnier.
That's messed up, you.
Why did you drink the water? Because he drowned it.
Yeah, that's what I'd show Linda. Yeah, leave. We've had enough of you here.
Get out of my pub.
But yeah, Alfie gives a speech about honouring Mick, and he's going to do this by being a better man. And everybody agrees, they all raise their glasses, but before it can fully continue, the detectives come in and say, there's been a development. I think my issues with this is kind of same reasons as to why I had a lot of issues with the dot stuff. Actually, I lied, it's not the same. Get that. A lot of this just it feels in vain because Mick's he's not dead. He's not dead, is he? Come on. Mick Carter's one of the most invested in characters that the show writers have done the last 10 years. He's not dead. Danny Dyer is going to come back in 5 years when his money's dried up.
Who knows? He might already want to come back.
But yeah, it's just come on. I get it. You're supposed to, he's drowned, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but he's not dead, though, is he? Sam had a scare with the STI, but she's all in the clear. And she says it's been the wake-up call she's needed, and it seems like she might have chosen Ricky. Well, at least she's chosen Ricky without the knowledge that her little boy is gonna become a dad. Poor Ricky.
Okay.
Linda gets given Mick's wallet that washed up on shore, and it feels like Linda now fully believes that he's gone. She runs out the pub and is overwhelmed.
Question. Was there money in the wallet?
I don't think so.
Damn it. Imagine there was money in the wallet.
Ooh, oh, no, that's evidence. Well, evidence gonna buy me a pint, you bastards.
Ooh, 50 quid. That'll buy me an elite. Thank you very much, Mick. Go on to Smith's. That Brock Lesnar in overalls looks beautiful. I will take that off the shelf. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and Lola continues thinking about her mum, but she's decided that she doesn't want to find her. But who hasn't heard about the new, like, oh, don't find the mum. It's only Billy who's gonna go and find her.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you?
And Ricky tells Sam that he's gotten full custody of Scarlett. And she essentially goes, you know what, Ricky, no matter what I do, anywhere I travel, it always seems like I end up being sat in front of Ricky Butcher. And she says this, and her triple fried egg sandwich gets delivered. Like I said, it seems like Sam's made a choice, but yeah, sorry to break it to you. She's not leaving.
Is she staying on the show?
She's staying, for sure. There's no way she's leaving.
Oh, I wish Ricky could stay.
Yeah, I have enjoyed Ricky on the show. Like, he fits in quite well. So I at least hope that this stint means that he will come back again at some point. Basically, whenever they decide to bring back Tiffany Butcher, maybe bring back Keegan if you want, maybe not, I don't mind. But whenever they bring back Tiffany, I'd happily see them bring back Tiffany, a recasted Liam, and Ricky and Scarlett as like a family unit.
Can you not recast Tiffany? No.
Nah, Tiffany's been on the actress has been on the show since she was a kid. There's no way you can't recast Tiffany.
You recasted Ben Mitchell. You can't
Yeah, but
recast...
Ben Mitchell was always recast though.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean. You can't just pick and choose who you want to recast.
Yeah, you can.
No, you can't. Like Nick Carter, easily recast him, so we don't have to listen to him being dead. I don't care that he's dead. I just want to move on with the show.
Yeah, well, I guarantee Linda's overarching story this year is that she's going to be struggling with the grief, so maybe just, maybe don't get too excited at the fact of it being over, because it's not going to be over for a while. Sharon and Alfie comfort Linda about her loss, and they decide that they're going to put this old picture of her and Mick as teens behind the bar. So whenever she needs the strength, she can look at the picture and find it. And the final scene of the week. Lily finally sits down with Martin and Stacy, and she's like, okay, let's talk. The parents realize that the best approach is to let her come to them, and she decides that she's going to get rid of it. Lily is going to get rid of the baby. And that was episode 3 of Watching Walford. All the episodes from the 16th of January 2023 all the way to the 20th. I suppose before we get into the prestigious awards, did you enjoy the week of EastEnders?
I did until Linda came back.
Honestly, yeah. Agreed. Completely.
like Ricky and Alfie have been my highlights.
Yeah.
I don't care if we're doing any old documentary, it's on Ricky Butcher.
Yeah, about the time he the time he went on a stag do and ended up in France or something.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it's a fun story. So that you just have one episode of like him, Phil, maybe like I don't remember who else was on the stag do, but they just end up in France or something. Oh, it's a great one.
You need to find that episode for me. I'm watching that episode.
Will do. Yeah, I suppose it was an okay week of EastEnders. The main thing that's keeping me like keen is I'm looking forward to the Affair Watch. And I'm also slightly excited at Brett possibly staying around and actually getting to do stuff himself. but I don't know. The fact that Zach's not completely, like, shut him out is good. It's slightly promising, but who knows? And obviously for now, it's nice to see that Lily's not going to keep the baby because she is 12 years old, and that's probably a bit early to have a child. But also we know that just you wait till Ricky Jr. and Jack Branning find out it's going to be havoc. I still think she's going to keep the baby. Like, I feel like she's going to kind of speak to Whitney a bit more, and Whitney's going to show that she loves the baby, and, and I think she's still going to end up having the kid.
And then how I predict it will go is she'll basically go to Stacey, look, Mom, can we just pretend it's your child?
Yeah. But who knows? Fortunately, we still have to wait about 8 months till 8 or 9 more months till Lily has the child, potentially.
No, she got pregnant in the January, so we'll find out in July.
Pete, that's not how babies work. And I suppose the final bit of Watching Walford, it's the time we discuss 2 of our awards. I'm sure we'll get a much larger list as it goes on. Let's kick it off with the underrated character of the week. Piggy, who do you feel like who shined with doing very little?
Ricky.
I feel like this award's going to get really biased. If anybody is deciding to keep stats, I feel like Ricky's going to be your character all of the times that he's still about for.
I want episodes of him in Germany now. I don't care about Eastenders. Just film him in Germany.
Yeah, I think Ricky's always a nice. Like we said, it's pretty sad that he's probably gonna leave in like a week. He's probably off as soon as Sam realizes that Ricky's gonna be a dad, or Ricky Jr.'s gonna be a dad. My underrated character of the week. I actually have to think about this a bit. Because obviously the characters I've most enjoyed this week are the characters who have been like front and center. So I think, because I know who the Steve Blackman is this week for me, but God, underrated character. I'm just gonna say Brett. I think Brett's been really good. I like what he's been doing. I hope he sticks around, and it's nice to have actually had Zach listen to him rather than just shutting him out and being like, "You don't know what you're on about." There we are. That's my character. That's my underrated character of the week. I hope he stays. And it's the time you wait for every single week. It's the most anticipated thing that Piggy does. It's time for the Steve Blackman Award. Now, before we fully get into this, let's reestablish. Steve Blackman was a wrestler in the Attitude Era of WWF, who essentially he was like a martial arts man who like wielded sticks, and he was one of the least charismatic people possible, but he still managed to be loved. But this award's mostly just about people who have been really wooden and just kind of just a bit garbage, pretty much.
And I would like to give this award to Linda Carter.
She's grieving.
And?
Nah, to be fair, this is what Linda usually does anyway. No, yeah. Yeah, and I feel like you don't even need to explain it that heavily. Because it's just Linda, and I wonder if people have turned around on the Linda hate train, because I doubt it.
I didn't know there was a hate train towards her.
No, people did not. People did not like Linda.
Like the character or the actor?
No, just the character. Just the character. I doubt that there's no like bad feelings towards the actress, because the actress is just a good actress. But it's just the fact that Linda's character is just really infuriating. I'd say, at least. I don't know. I wonder if it's still a thing or not. I don't know. I haven't actually really looked at it too much. I suppose my Steve Blackman award of this week is going to someone who I'm pretty sure I gave underrated character. It's actually going to be Freddie Slater this week. Because he was just a bit of a knob in these set of episodes. Like the first scene, you see him stealing all the milk, and he tries to awkwardly pour it into a pint back into the jar. And then he's at the pub where he's trying to help, but he's just bloody useless. And he brings out the bloody soap tray and he starts like flipping the water everywhere. And I'm just like, you know what? You know what, Freddie? This is the first time where I'm just like, you know what? Just, I've had enough of you for now. Just actually do something that involves you being like funny or you being like friends with someone, not you just being a nuisance. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
All right. And like we said before, that was episode 3 of Watching Walford, the weekly podcast where we discuss all of the events that transpired over the past week. If you want to support the Watching Walford channel, make sure to subscribe, like the video, and comment, and just share it around a little bit. Obviously, podcasts podcasts nowadays are usually quite hard to go anywhere because ultimately, well, if you're a podcast watcher, you've usually found your podcast that you want to put on at all points. So if you're gonna support us, go ahead and do that. Anything fancy happening?
No, nothing fantasy happening. Just support my other podcast, Pigs and Fergs, or support Ash's other podcast, Easily Entertained.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah, that's it from us. Thank you for watching. Join us next time on Watching Walford every Sunday evening, I believe.